Hey everyone, this is Jake Crew and welcome back to Blind Faith. First and foremost, I wanted to kind of just let everyone know that people lately have been commenting on my videos with links that are scams. I have not clicked on any of them. I have not been scammed, and I just want to make sure no one else will be scammed, so I'm just kind of giving a warning. Please do not click on any links on my comments under YouTube. If you'd like to share a link, you can email my address. I've got it in the About section of my info. And that kind of relates into this week's topic. I wanted to talk about a couple of things, but they all kind of relate to the same thing. First and foremost, I want to talk about how we need to take difficult times and use them to help us get closer to God. Throughout my first year of college, I faced many hardships and difficulties. I took some of the hardest classes hope to ever take, and chemistry I find especially hard. And some people would take these classes and get pushed farther away from God because they'd be sitting there and going, first of all, like biology, for example, parts of biology have to do with evolution, things they don't have to do anything with God. Some of it has to do with no God, like the how life first appeared on Earth. And some people are pushed away from God by this. And I found my bond with God strengthening through this time period. I found it strengthening through chemistry, and I find it continuing to strengthen. Because, quite honestly, when I sit down and think about it, some of those classes, like, for example, chemistry last semester, I was confused the whole semester, and somehow I did well in the class. I worked really hard. I would work hours, like even Saturdays, Sundays, sometimes I spend 5-6 hours working on chemistry. And some people take that and go, oh, I worked really hard to do well in that class. But I turn back on, because at the beginning of every semester so far in college, I've prayed to God and asked God to help me get through my classes. And every semester I've got through the classes, and sometimes they're just as hard as I thought the class would be, sometimes harder. But most of the time I find the classes easier than I thought they were going to be because God is with me. And I've got to remember to continue bringing God into my schooling with me. When that's a really hard class or a class that maybe I don't enjoy the topic, I've got to ask God for help because God is there to help. And take that time, take that experience, whether it's college, a new job, your old job that you're not enjoying, just anything you don't enjoy, and use it as a learning experience, a time to bond better with God, a time to realize what God's actually doing in your life. That's what I've used that for. Is I've prayed so much over the last year about getting help. Before every test, I pray. Before every assignment, I pray. When I get my grade back, I pray. Before I look at it, after I look at it, I pray and thank Him for me doing well on it, because I would not have done well on most of my assignments without God. God has helped me through all these assignments. God will continue helping me through all these assignments. And God's also helped me keep my stress level down, because sometimes I get overwhelmed by college and stuff. It seems like a lot of homework and stuff. That's when I turn to God and say, God, please help me get through this. And every single time I've done that, something happens that lightens the load somehow. An assignment that I think will take 4 hours only takes an hour. Sometimes I've accidentally added assignments onto my list that, duplicates, I'll write down an assignment that I've got to do, and then later that day I'll be like, oh, I've got to write that assignment down. I write it down again, but I'm not very descriptive, so sometimes I'll put chemistry assignment, and later that day I'll write chemistry assignment. So then I think I've got 2 chemistry assignments, and each chemistry assignment kind of takes me 3-4 hours. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so much work. Actually, this just happened on Tuesday, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so much work. And I went and I'm like praying to God and like, please help me get through today. And I look, and I only had 2.5 hours of work. And I planned out that I would have 8 hours of work. And it's stuff like that that has really helped me strengthen my bond with God and stuff, because I've recognized God's hand in it. I do not take credit for it, because quite honestly, without God, I would be horribly stressed out. I'd be struggling, probably not doing as well as I am. But with God, I can do anything, and I believe it. Since I believe it, it happens. And this kind of leads into the second thing, the difficulties, because the devil, especially right now, has been throwing a lot of difficulties our way. We have the pandemic, which everyone is affected by. We have the fires in California, which, even though like I'm not affected by them personally, they affect some of my fellow Christians, some of my fellow relatives and family, basically, because God wants us to be all brother and sister and love our neighbors. And so I'm still spending time praying for them stuff. And then Texas, Louisiana is getting hit by that large hurricane. And I'm spending time praying for them too, because they are family as well. They're family, friends, even though I don't know any of them. And I think it's important to remember that the devil is sometimes even indirectly testing our love of God, because he's sitting there like the whole world has a pandemic, and then he's sitting there trying to create disasters for other people, and it's kind of testing whether we'll go to God and ask God to help them too, or if we'll just sit here thankful that it's not us. And that's kind of what we have to think about, is what the devil is trying to push us to do. The devil has also been making just bad things happen all over, and that's things. I don't use the devil as an excuse for everything, because or as he'd be kind of an excuse for bad behavior, like if I'd do something wrong, and if I said the devil made me do it, then it'd be like I'd be like trying to excuse myself. And it's important to apologize and stuff. Well, it's also important to recognize how the devil's trying to influence us. The devil is here. He is trying to attack us. He's trying to get us on his side. And we have to make sure that we fight against him, that we call to God, that we call to Jesus, and ask God and ask Jesus for help. That we ask God to join us. We ask God to help us make it through the temptation, make it through the hardships, and know that God's got a better plan for us. This is Jake Crew. Thanks for watching Blind Faith. Thanks for watching. See you all next week.